I think there are two writers who are really worth looking at here. One is Mary Midgley, who just mentioned, and her idea is really, look, reality is so complex that one angle of view isn't good enough. Think of a complex building, think of a work of art, something like that. You approach it from multiple angles, you see the whole thing, not just part of it. Otherwise, you have a partial view of reality and you mistakenly conclude that's it. So that's a very important first step. The second step is to talk about multiple levels of reality. This is Roy Basker, a very well-known social philosopher. Here's an example I'm going to use which makes this absolutely clear. When I talk about disability, what do I mean? And the answer is it's a very complex and rich phenomenon which has four basic levels. The World Health Organization has the standard ICIDH2 model which is used. Pathology, in other words, something wrong with something in the body, which leads to, in effect, an observable change in the way in which we behave. In other words, we don't do something as well as we used to, which means that we do not interact with our environment as well as we used to, and it also means that we don't engage in social participation as well as we do. And disability is all of those four levels. That's the key point. So let's imagine then that somebody has a brain tumor. This is a simple example. That means that cognitively they don't function as well as they used to. It means they're unable to relate to their environment. It means that they may become unemployed because they cannot do certain things. All those levels are here. Now, here's the absolutely important point. Supposing I wanted to investigate a brain tumor, what research method would I use? I would say positron emission tomography. Tells you very, very quickly what there is, where it is, and how bad it is. Does positron emission tomography tell you how well you're functioning cognitively? No. Different research method, the waste test or something, and so on. You look at employment prospects through a different method. If you were to say, look, positron emission tomography works perfectly well for brain tumors, we don't need to use any other research method. What you are doing is you are simply limiting reality to what that research method discloses. It's a completely inadequate account of a complex phenomenon. Multiple levels, multiple research methods. Reality is complex. It's all these levels and it's more than that. And the problem is that science tends to reduce things to workable proportions, and the danger is you limit reality to what the scientific method can disclose.
So Alistair, you quoted Mary Midgley and Roy Basker. What would be some good books to start reading from those authors?
I think if you want to follow through on this, you'd look at Mary Midgley's book, Myths We Live By, or perhaps Roy Basker's book, The Possibility of Naturalism. Or you can read some of the books I've written where I pick up on these things, like Inventing the Universe.